This AI agent turns revenge stories into narrated videos crazy fast. Revenge stories have taken YouTube by storm. Bold betrayals, wretched wrongs, and sweet vengeance. And the returns can be just as sweet. These channels have raked in millions of views, earning their creators tens of thousands of dollars. With this workflow and the server we built for you, creating YouTube-ready revenge story videos is a piece of cake. Want to see how it's done?
This is AI Agent Z to Z.
For this video, we built a whole new server.
Based on the comments and requests from the previous videos, we made a faster server that supports GPU acceleration for the whole video generation process. It also supports multiple languages like US English,
Hamburger.
British English,
Alright.
Mandarin Chinese,
你好吗?
Spanish,
¿Cómo estás?
French,
Bonjour.
Italian,
Mi amore.
Brazilian Portuguese.
I don't think I know anything in Portuguese.
At this moment, we cannot support Japanese or Hindi. Drop a comment below if you are interested and we'll look into it. Lastly, it runs in Docker, so you can either run it locally on your Windows, macOS, or Linux machine, or you can deploy it to the cloud to any VPS. It's yours. Take it. Our workflow has two main parts. One part is to acquire posts from Reddit and saving it into a database. The second part is to create the actual story, turn it into a video, and post it on YouTube. For persistency, we are using Supabase. Let me just show you the database schema that we are going to use. These are all the fields we are going to use in this workflow. Make sure to go and check the guide on how to set it up. You'll find all the details there. In terms of storage, make sure to create a bucket that has public access. You can upload it anywhere else as well if you want to, but this is the simplest option. And after uploading, you can grab the public URL by just clicking on get URL and then copy it into the workflow.
Our workflow takes posts from Reddit as inspiration to create expanded, immersive, and fictionalized revenge tales.
We are requesting the top stories from the previous month, and we want 100 items. But as you can see, we are only getting sometimes 44, 55, depends on the month. Feel free to change the period. It could be the past week or even the past year. So it's up to you. Next, we split out the data. And I'm also running a filter on the data because we want to skip all the video posts as it doesn't have enough text to work with. For demonstration purposes, I'm limiting the number of items in this workflow to 10, but the workflow you are going to download is not going to have this limitation. We have a main loop, and inside this loop, first, we are mapping all the fields that we are going to save into the database. So namely the Reddit ID, the permalink, the title, and the content. And next, we are doing a lookup in the database. We want to see if the post was already processed and pushed to the database. And if it was, then we are exiting the loop or going to the next item and skipping this current item. If it wasn't saved, however, then we are using a text classifier node with three distinct classes. One is story, the other one is ask for advice, and the third one is renting. And what we want to do is to categorize whether this is an actual story that we can work with. If it's not a story, we are skipping it. So you can see we are saving all the fields. However, we are setting the status to skipped. If it's a story that we can work with, then we are saving it with a queued status.
Also, if you want to be notified when this part of the workflow is done, feel free to drop a note here and you can configure it however you'd like. With the stories in our database, now we can generate our own inspired revenge tale.
Let's start with some configuration. We have a couple of fields that requires your attention. The background video is going to be looping until the whole video plays. So make sure to pick a good video that goes very well. For example, nice cat video. The resolution of the video is full HD. So 1920 times 1080. It's a cute cat. You can find a lot of nature videos. You can also stitch videos together and have a longer video with more variety. You can see that we have an array where you can add multiple items. And at the start of the workflow, we are going to take a random item from those items. So you can have multiple different background videos you favor, and the videos you generate are going to have more variety. Both the person female image URL and the person male image URL represent the narrator on your video.
And to actually generate the image, just hop over to OpenAI's Playground, and with a short prompt, you can generate these avatars with transparent backgrounds.
Now the server URL is going to be different for you. It depends on whether you run the server on your local machine or is it a virtual server somewhere in the cloud. But please find the guide that we linked in the description and find the right settings for the workflow that you are going to run. The last required parameter is the language code. Actually, we have a couple of languages, as we already mentioned. You can list all the available languages on the /API/languages endpoint. And you can see that each language has different voices available. This is all coming from Kokoro. You can find information on the quality of the voices on the Kokoro's documentation on Hugging Face. I'm going to link this in the description below. If you want to use, let's say, AF Bella, then you would set the language code to NUS and the sex to female. All right, I'm going to set it back to the default values. So in this first node, we are simply mapping the different language codes to the actual language. So we can use instructions on what language we are expecting the content to be. In the next node, we are setting the sex of the character. For the French language, we only have a female speaker. So we have a clause. If it's a French language code, we are using a female sex. Otherwise, we are taking a random item from male or female. And if you defined it in the configuration panel, we are going to use the one that was defined there. Moving on, we are getting the first item to process. And if there is no more item to process, then we are just exiting here. In the next step, you can see we have a prompt to create our main character. We have a system prompt, which explains the expectation from the language model. And we have the sex, the location, the age, and the name defined as an expected output. And we are passing in all the information that we have about this story, plus the sex of the character that we want to create. We have our main character. In the next node, we have a system prompt, and we also have a main prompt where we define the expectation from the language model.
It starts with some instructions on what to include for the character, what reading level to use, what language, how long. Then it also defines the plot structure. We wrote out a clear Act 1, 2, 3 that the LLM should use so that it creates a dynamic and engaging story. We also include the character here from the previous node. And finally, the story that we had captured in the database from Reddit.
So last few steps before jumping into creating the video, we are cleaning up the text a little bit. We are removing some new line characters and asterisks, I cannot say it. And if the voice was defined, then we are going to use the defined voice. Otherwise, so you can see that we are downloading all the available voices. And in this step, we are taking one random item from the right language and the right sex. So you can see we have AM Eric, which is in the right category. And in the final node before the video generation, we are setting the voice to the one that is either the randomly selected one or the original one.
Now let's generate our video and upload it to YouTube.
This HTTP node is very simple. We are using the data from the previous nodes We have the cleaned text of the story that was generated by the LLM. We are using the person image URL coming from the first configure node. We have the person's name that's coming from the create character node, and the background video URL that is also coming from the configure node from the beginning. And we have the voice parameter that will be mapped to the right language on the server. After this node, we have a loop where we check on the status of the video every 10 seconds until it comes back with either the failed or the completed status. Until it's processing, it's going to return back to the wait node. If the video fails, we mark it as failed and we save it. If it succeeds, then we have a node that sets the download URL and we save it to the database as created. The final thing is to upload the videos to YouTube, and then we set the database record to have the uploaded status.
Let's test this workflow and generate a video.
Bling. So you can see that we entered the wait loop. I'm gonna show the server. So while it's generating, it's always good to follow, at least for the first time, to make sure that there is no error in the server. Here we go.
My name is Ethan Cole, and I live in Portland, Oregon. I'm 32 years old, work from home as a freelance writer, and I spend a lot of time on the internet, probably too much. I learned that even small actions can have big consequences, and that sometimes doing the right thing is the best revenge of all.
So if I wanted to do other languages, how would I set this up?
It's very simple. You go back to the configuration node, and for the language code, you would just say Spanish, yes. And again, don't forget to check the endpoint where all the available languages are listed. You can take these keys and insert it into the n8n workflow. Many of you asked us to show how to run these servers. So I'm going to show you first on Windows how to make it work. Open up Docker Desktop. On the bottom right corner, you will see a terminal icon. Click on it and enter the command to run Docker container. If you don't have the Docker container pulled, it's going to first pull the data to your computer. Now that it's running, let's test it. We open the browser and enter localhost on port 8000. We check the health endpoint to make sure that it's available. It is running properly. We can connect it to n8n now. If you don't want to start it always from the terminal, you can use the -d flag that's going to start it in a detached mode. So it will run forever until you go in and stop it manually from the running containers. Now let's take a look at macOS. You have the Docker command and you just run it. It's going to download the image, start the container. You can check it if it's available. Here we go. So now it is ready to be connected to n8n. It is that simple. On Linux, it works exactly the same way. If you have an NVIDIA GPU and you would want to use it to accelerate the generation process, it is supported all the way in the generation. You just need to use this other command, enabling the GPU support. And as you can see here, we're using CUDA, so the generation is going to be a lot faster. If you get stuck, you can find me on the Discord server and I'll do my best to help.
Remember to check our video description, where we've included links to download the workflow, our guides on how to start the server and set up Supabase, and our Discord server, which is free to join if you need help. If you have an idea for another workflow or server, leave a comment below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe.